want to thank God so much.
Well, congratulations to you. You've said throughout this campaign for this fight, you said you have to stay disciplined, stay focused, and stay active. What does staying active mean to you, given the landscape of this heavyweight division?
Staying active, man. I do not want to be waiting so long until I fight. I want to fight at least 3-4 times a year. I'm ready, man. I'm hungry. I want to be champion again and bring that belt back to Mexico.
We have a fight. Deontay Wilder returns to take on Robert Helenius in New York on October 15th. Should he become victorious on that night, is that the fight you want next?
You know what?
The winner of that fight.
God willing, he wins Robert in October. And, you know, me and him are in the same organization. I want to thank Al Heyman. He can make this fight happen, and let's do it. Let's get it on.
Congratulations to you, Andy. Is that the fight you would want next, should you be victorious on October 15th?
I mean, Deontay Wilder's back. You know, he always looking for great, exciting fights. That's what he loved to give the fans. So if that's what lined up next, I got to handle business. After that, man, we can get it on.
Destroyer, Andy Ruiz Jr.
Well, there you heard it from the mouth himself.
What's good, family? It's your man, the YB, back once again. So we just heard there from Andy Double Cheese Ruiz airing out Deontay Wilder. Now, I ain't gonna lie to you, man. There weren't really no airing out at all. These two are wafflers. Oh, man. Oh, Andy Ruiz. Oh, my speed, my movement. Oh, you're not giving it all that. Yeah? I can't lie to you. I mean, in my opinion, I'm not sure why they even bothered bringing Wilder in the ring. I was expecting a face-off. I was expecting some smoke. Do you know what I'm saying? These two are like, I have to fight Robert Helenius and, yeah. Wilder should have been sticking it on the guy. I'd have been saying, listen, Double Cheese Ruiz. Yeah, you just went life and death with Louise Ortiz, some 60-year-old man who washed you out in the last round. Big facts. Call me a liar. Did or did not Louise Ortiz wash Double Cheese Ruiz in the last round? Oops. You know what I mean? I feel like the game getting a bit too cordial, truth be known. Everyone trying to be friends. Everyone trying to be best friends, especially when you think about the old times. In the old times, yeah, ops was serious ops. I mean, even back in the 90s, people like Mike Tyson have only just recently made up with Lennox Lewis and Evander Holyfield. Seriously. There's relationships or people who have fought in the 90s have only made up just now, 25 years later. No joke. These times, these guys are all friendly now. It's like, what the fuck? You man are in the peak of your career and trying to be friends. Anyway, what I'm saying is, I mean, I'm thinking about their profitability. I'm thinking about their marketability here. In as much as I'm sure a lot of these guys, yeah, could add 50, 60% to the pay-per-view sales if they actually sold it half. You know what I mean? On paper, Wilder vs Ruiz is a banging fight. It's got everything. It's got knockout power from Wilder. It's got Andy Ruiz's quick combinations. It's got both men. Whatever you say about both men, they come back swinging. So it's got the whole lot. Also, it's got the whole Mexico versus African American thing. You know what I mean? It's got the whole lot, the whole package. What it's missing is that oomph. I guess you could argue, well, YB, would you rather them create some fake beef? And that's also fair enough. There's nothing worse than fake beef, but still, I'm not talking about fake beef. I'm talking about sticking on a man and saying, listen, I ain't going to let no big bubbly Double Cheese Ruiz do nothing with me. I'll be saying, listen, his body is too soft. Yeah? When this right hand meets soft body, it's a wrap for him. Yeah? No soft body can take this right hand. Too soft. Too bulbous. Yeah? Too bubbly. And equally, Andy Ruiz could be in there saying, listen, Deontay Wilder's legs are too skinny. Them skinny little legs ain't going to be able to hold the combinations I'm going to be putting on them. Yeah? Deontay Wilder got a little pointy, ever-trained chin. It can't hold the combinations. That's the kind of, what's the word? That's the kind of lyrics I'm looking for. These guys are like, oh, he my friend, and oh, yeah. You know what I'm saying? I'm just not feeling the bass in their voice. The bass is missing, in my opinion. Especially when, really, on paper, I like these two guys. On paper, this fight's as good as it gets, if you get what I'm saying. It's just missing that. I don't know, maybe it's because the fight isn't on yet. But I remember, back in 2015, when Wilder won the belt, or just after that, Fury flew to America and got in the ring against Wilder and literally stuck it on him. Was getting all up in his face. Now I understand. Is it a case of, well, these two guys are contenders now and these two guys don't have any belts? I'm not sure. But you don't need belts to be alpha almost about things. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm looking for that alpha behaviour. Alpha behaviour that says, I'm a heavyweight or I'm a boxer and I ain't going to let no one do nothing. Yeah? This guy, Double Cheese Ruiz, he don't want what I'm about to serve him up. He about to get served up. Yeah? I'm about to serve up the guy like he working in a fast food restaurant. Because he'd be looking like he 100%. Andy Ruiz looked like he be staying in them fast food joints. And I'm going to serve him up like he be staying in them 100%. Do you know what I'm saying? I've got a few bars still. Too many bars. Anyway. Listen. Some people are speculating, maybe it's just Eddie Hearn hating. Eddie Hearn's implying that Wilder might not get through Helenius. Now, I don't know, has Helenius turned a bridge? Has he turned a corner? We know Helenius jacked against Dillian Whyte. He bottled it. He bottled under the pressure. Now, since then, he filled in Adam Kalinowski, who was supposed to be the next best thing. At the time, when Kalinowski was knocking around, people were saying Wilder was going to get knocked out by Kalinowski. Yeah? Kalinowski no good. So is it a case of Helenius has finally risen to the occasion? Now, Kalinowski is clearly limited. What worries me is the fact that Wilder has been sparring with Helenius. So it's kind of like Wilder knows, or I'd like to think at least, Wilder knows who he's working with. If you get what I'm saying. So Wilder most likely is going to come through the Helenius test. And that leaves us onto this one. But yeah, listen. The fight's a great fight. It really is. I can't think of... even Wilder versus Usyk... Usyk versus Fury. That Wilder versus Andy Ruiz really is that top flight. It's not as far off Fury and Usyk in terms of 50-50-ness. People often forget that belts and whatever else don't really matter. What matters is 50-50 fights. That's why, really, for me, I like the YouTube generation of fights because most of the time they're 50-50. And that's all that matters. Two men, relatively similar, who both refuse to lose. And we know Wilder, he ain't going to roll over. Andy Ruiz, I guess you could say half rolled over against AJ, but then again, AJ was running in that second fight. I bet you any money, if AJ had stood and tried to bang, as he should have done, like a man should do, yeah, Andy Ruiz popped your cherry. Yeah, Andy Ruiz took AJ to jail and turned him out. AJ owed it to his legacy, to his fans, to get some get back. To get some get back for his pride. Yeah? AJ, you got turned out. Andy Ruiz took you to jail and turned you out. And sold your booty to all the man in jail. To all the zesty man in jail. And all the zesty man in jail came through to the cell and ran train on you for some coin. And you best believe all the man who was running train on AJ's booty, they was running up Andy Ruiz's books. Andy Ruiz's books was going through the roof because AJ was putting that work in the cell. Yeah, he stayed putting that work in. Anyway, listen. Hopefully there's no slip-ups, because if I know boxing, I can't believe Helenius is going to do something, but imagine that. That's knowing boxing in 2022, Deontay Wilder is about to lose to Helenius, if you get what I'm saying. Because in 2022, everything that makes sense don't happen. For example, AJ beating Usyk, so that the AJ versus Fury fight, the big undisputed fight could happen. That fall through, yeah. But Deontay Wilder ain't no AJ. Deontay Wilder knows how to get it done. I'd like to think. Let's say that plays out anyway. make sure you smash the like button, subscribe, and lick off the bell. No doubt.